Perhaps, I think I got one cap. Thank you. Then I can see your face more clearly. Too much light, difficult. Respected spiritual brothers, elder brothers and sisters, and then rest brothers, sisters. I feel great honor on my talk arranged in the famous cathedral of the capital of the United States. Great honor. Now, we are the 21st century. In spite of many sort of development, mainly in technology, and also I think economy, health, in many fields. And also, I think the religious harmony also, I think generally speaking, really, I think, a progress. And I think generally people everywhere desire for peace, very strong. And people, I think now everywhere, really feel violence is not the right method. So people really get stronger feeling of fed up about violence. So these are positive trend. So, because of that reality, now we really need further constant effort to create happier humanity, happier century. We should not neglect like previous century of bloodshed, century of violence. That kind of century should not repeat.
Continue.
So firstly, I want to touch my so one commitment. Another commitment is promotion of religious harmony. Since I think 40 years, I think, as a Buddhist monk, and stay in India. So in India, I think in modern India, almost whole world major religious tradition live there. Generally, very harmonious. Recently, I met one Romanian. He carries some research work about religious harmony in India. So he told me he visited one Muslim village, according to India's sort of size. The village means at least I think a few thousand population. So he found in that Muslim village only three Hindu families, no fear. completely safe. Then also the Zorazuddin, Parsi, from ancient time, from Iran. They come, they settle, mainly in one big city, Bombay. Population, less than 100,000. But no fear, no persecution there.
Persecution.
Like that. So then, yes, religious harmony is very possible. One big country, over 1,000 years, religious harmony there. In intellectual level, of course, discussions or debate, sometimes heated debate, but respect each other. So therefore, since one ancient nation, and also now today, I think most populated democratic country, India. And India, not easy, complicated country. However, you see, religious harmony, there, very possible. So therefore, I fully committed to promote religious harmony. Genuine harmony must come from heart, not just a few moments, happy meeting, big smile, exchange some few nice words. Not that way. From whole, deep from the heart, admire the different religious tradition and appreciation. And awareness, humanity need these different major religious tradition. Then often in the philosophical field, we find big differences. Even within India's own traditions, Jainism, Buddhism, different Hinduism, big differences. But all should carry message, practice of non-violence, practice of love, compassion. So now, all religions, major religions, major religion means religions with certain concept or philosophical sort of background. You see, those all religions carry same message, same practice of love, sense of care of other, and serving other, helping other. So, and also, you see, practice of compassion, not easy. In our emotion, anger, hatred, fear, these are also the counterforce for love or compassion. So therefore, all major religious traditions also, you see, carry same message or same practice of forgiveness, practice of tolerance. And also these, anger, hatred, very much related with self-centered attitude. And that also related with greed. So too much greed. Then sometimes, you see, jealousy, distrust, all these also come. Therefore, all major religious traditions teach us contentment or simplicity, Then, of course, the Christian brothers, sisters, I think really made greatest contribution for education and health in
All over the world.
all over the world. Some area in India, quite remote. So modern facility not there, so difficult. But we can see some sisters, mainly sisters, and also brothers, they totally dedicated serving others. All these sort of enthusiasm or willpower come from not money or name, simply their faith. Serving poor people is the best way serving God. So your faith really works. And one my Muslim friend say, genuine practitioner of Islam must extend love and towards entire creature of Allah. And serious practitioner of Islam create bloodshed, then no longer genuine practitioner of Islam. So all religion, you see, carry is the same message. Then, yes, there are big differences in the philosophical field. I think one sort of the most sort of the contradictions. The most of religions believe creator. I'm Buddhist, no concept of creator. So according to your sort of belief, I'm non-believer. So, but you see, same practice. So different sort of philosophical views is simply a different method, different way of approach. It is necessary. I always telling people, within Buddhist, follow of same teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, he taught different philosophical views. These different philosophy actually contradiction each other. So I sometimes, with respect to Buddha, I sometimes make a little joke. Contradictory philosophy or teaching taught by same teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, not due to his own confusion. One day, one place, he taught something. Another place, another occasion, another group of people, he taught something different. So Buddha's own mind, not very certain. No, certainly not. Nor he deliberately tried to create more confusion among his disciples. No, Buddha, compassionate person. So then answer is, different people, different individual, different mental disposition. Therefore, it is necessary to different way of approach, different philosophical views. Same aim to bring inner peace, inner strength, and rigorously practice love, compassion, forgiveness, these things. So to some people, the concept of creator is very, very powerful. One, my Christian friend, I asked, according Christianity, if you accept previous life, then he said, no.
What is the problem now? What is the problem?
What is the problem? And he said, this very life created by God. So that very, very powerful sort of also the concept. This very life given by God. So you naturally develop very sort of close intimacy feeling with God as a father. So more that feeling, more willingness to follow our Father's guidance. The Father itself, the God itself, they like infinite love. So we, created by that kind of infinite love. And then, since we created by God, so I think the children carry some kind of genes from father. So similarly, each creature has some kind of sparks of God. So that very, very powerful sort of concept. Self-confidence and willingness to follow the God's path. So wonderful. Now I'm Buddhist. I also have to say something about Buddhist way of approach. No creator, but law of causality. Not only Buddhism, but Jainism, and also one part of Sankhyaism. Very, very ancient Indian tradition. No creator, but actually oneself as a creator. Because our experiences is a result of our action that we call karma, action. So action of individual. So therefore, judging sort of that view, we believe self-creation. So that also is a very sort of helpful individual. If you do good thing, good action to other, you get benefit. If you do harm other, you get negative consequences. So you can't blame anyone. Just hold responsibility, relying on your own shoulder. So that way of approach, also you see to some people, I think including myself, quite sort of quite powerful. If you do not behave well, and nobody can save you, can protect you. So more sort of the heavier sort of responsibility. So if possible, serve other, help other. If not, restrain harming other. So that's our main practice. So religious harmony, very, very possible and very necessary. Nowadays, in the name of different religions, you see killing. Even Buddhists now in Burma, some Buddhists harming some Muslim. Very sad. Then Christian, Muslim, within Christian, I have been a few times in Northern Ireland. Catholics, Protestant, you see, consider each other almost like enemy. The other, almost non-believer, they consider that kind of thing. So we really need constant effort to promote religious harmony on the basis of mutual understanding, mutual respect, mutual admiration, and realize 7 billion human beings need variety of method to promote love, compassion. Now my main, commitment, that's promotion of human value. Now this title,
Beyond religion.
Beyond religion. So this I must just make some explanation. This title, not I recommended, but the publisher made that. So when I saw, that book, my book, I felt, it may create some misunderstanding. Beyond religion means or something above religion. No. What I'm explaining is actually basis of all major religions. So beyond here means religions, no matter how wonderful, will not cover entire humanity. Now today, according to some sort of statistics, they say out of 7 billion, 1 billion human beings are non-believer. So we cannot exclude these people. These also human beings. They also deserve our love, our sense of care. So, and then, frankly speaking, I often is telling, just coming here, also I mentioned to my two sisters, brothers, I mentioned, even among believers, there are some mischievous believers also there. So this shows they believe something, but deep inside, lack of conviction about moral ethics. So they carry religion like more ceremonial way, or worse thing, religion also use instrument for exploitation, including some Tibetan lamas also exploiting in the name of Buddhist religion. So therefore, we really need effort to promote moral ethics, not through ceremony or few teaching, rituals, but through systematic way to educate. Moral ethics is really very, very important for happy life, individual level, family level, community level, or national level, or global level. That we can teach. As a result of a meeting or discussion with number of scientists now, nearly 30 years. Now, number of now medical scientists, now they say, calm mind, peaceful mind, very, very important for good health. So usually we say, healthy mind is very important for healthy body. Some scientists say, constant fear, anger, hatred, actually eating our immune system. So we can educate people. Usually I call hygiene of emotion. Hygiene of physical includes our in education curriculum. Now, hygiene of emotion should add. So very healthy body, but mentally too much worry, too much stress. I think among the audience, perhaps some people, short moment, feel peace, happy. But as soon as you reach your own home, a lot of stress, I think. So these things, see, too much stress, blood pressure increase, and you also lose your sleep or digestion, like that. So therefore, they just tranquilizer or alcohol or some sort of picnic, few moments or even few weeks, go different places. It's something like painkiller. The problem is still there. So we need the fundamental level to counter fear, anger, hatred. We all equip that because we all come from our mother. Biologically, we equipped sense of affection because we grown up at least few years entirely depend on mother, mainly mother, and also someone else. You see, we received tremendous sort of affection from mother. So those children who received maximum affection in early life, in deep insight, much peaceful, much calm. Those individuals who received lacking that kind of affection or grown up with fear, I think in deep insight, some kind of sense of insecurity. And that automatically creates fear, distrust. So we are social animals. We need certain mental level, certain sort of element to bring together. That's affection, not anger, not jealousy, not hatred. So those persons, this is who in deep insight fear, and very difficult to develop trust other. Without trust, how can develop friendship? So we need friendship. Even animals, those social animals, biologically, they're equipped. Sense of community, helping each other. So we, social animals, biologically, we equip that. Now, the thing is, we should not take for granted these things, these values. At the very early life, these things are very alive. But when we grown up, the whole environment, more materialistic sort of life, and materialistic culture. Then most important, existing education system oriented about material values. Not much talk about these inner value. So that I feel, and also my friend, some educationists, some scientists, we agree. We are lacking the systematic sort of education to bring awareness in the minds of students, the inner value, these things. So now here, this is not among believers, but entire 7 billion human beings. So we need different way of approach about promotion of the moral ethics, which acceptable to everybody and also non-believer. So then again in India, the secular concept of secular. In the West, my friend, some Muslims, some Christians, they have some reservation. According to the Western sort of the understanding, then secular is a little bit sort of disrespect religion or distance from religion. But according to Indian understanding, not like that. Modern India's constitution based on secularism. So according to Indian understanding, secular means respect all religions and also non-believers. So that, now we fully committed to promote inner value through secular way of approach. So now in education, now some of my friends already committed and also is experimenting. So some sort of the education curriculum about this inner value. So I think next few years, I think some sort of
Curriculum program.
some program, I think will be available. Then, I think, of course, I think worthwhile. Some school, as an experiment, teach such things, then see few years what result. If good result, if convinced, then can expand 10 schools or 100 schools, 1,000 schools like that. So that's the real meaning of Kasa, beyond religions. So now here, my friends, brothers and sisters, please think more seriously. If you have some serious interest, then further discuss with your friends and physicians or say scientists or educationists. This is concern for humanity. So we have to take seriously about concern of humanity because we are social animals. Then the modern reality, the global warmings, that's the problem of humanity, not one nation, two nations, but whole world. Because of global warming, nature disaster will increase. And then global economy related with whole humanity. So, according to that reality, not only morally speaking, but practically, we need sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings. Too much self-centered attitude is the ultimately troublemaker. Take care more others' well-being, family level, community level, gradually global level, then no basis of violence. How can, if you take seriously, sincerely about others' well-being, how can bully them? How can cheating them? So yes, you see, that is, I myself, follower of that asota, worship that spirit in, I think, at least 2-3 decades. Then I noticed. So we carry thorough research since 5th Dalai Lama and till 13th Dalai Lama. And most of the well-known Gelug masters, as well as Sakya masters, except a few, but 400 years, all consider this is evil spirit. So then I realized my own mistake out of ignorance. So that's the problem. So you have to study whole sort of stories, history. Then you know, the 5th Dalai Lama consider this spirit, Shugden, is Nanam Lobet Tamsi.
The 5th Dalai Lama recognized this Shugden spirit as a force that has arisen out of a distorted aspiration and also a source of harm.
Then 13th Dalai Lama also put a lot of restriction. So I have to follow. So then right from the beginning, I made clear, it is my duty. Explain what is the reality. Whether listen or not, up to individual. Like that. So some demonstrations, you see, welcome. You express your own sort of feeling, then that make known more people. So once people knows the reality, then they will follow. Otherwise, you see, a lot of ignorance. Myself, 14th Dalai Lama, as you mentioned, reincarnation of jealousy, also follow out of ignorance. Like that. So that's about my talk, Kasachukti.
Beyond religion.
Beyond religion. That's my main sort of talk. So I have three commitments. Number one commitment, as a human being, I promoting human value, concern about 7 billion humanity. Then, as a Buddhist, promoting religious harmony. Then third, as a Tibetan, now political responsibility, I completely retired now. Since 2011, now I completely retired. Not only myself retired, but also almost 4-century-old tradition. Since 5th Dalai Lama, the Dalai Lama institution automatically become head of both temple and spirituality. Now that ended. Voluntarily, happily, proudly ended. So I have no political responsibility. Now my main concern is preservation of Tibetan Buddhist culture and very rich Nalanda tradition of Tibetan Buddhist culture, Tibetan Buddhist knowledge. It's something really worthwhile to preserve. And particularly now in China, over 400 million Buddhists. So therefore, preservation of Tibetan Buddhist tradition is really worthwhile. Not only concern for Tibetan, 6 million Tibetan, but also several millions in that part of the world. And then one aspect of Tibet problem is ecology. That also related with over 1 billion human beings' life depend on those rivers which come from Tibet. And then Tibetan culture. I usually make a distinction. Buddhism with the Buddhist culture. Buddhist culture, usually I describe culture of non-violence, culture of compassion. So that kind of culture is really worthwhile to preserve. Thank you.